Hey, Pastor Jeff here with a little ministry moment. First, I wanted to thank everybody that's been supporting the channel. You're subscribing or watching videos. And so on Mondays, I like to put out a bit of ministry. And then later in the week, about the middle of the week, we put out Beyond the Pulpit with Pastor Neil Peterson and myself. And um, I'm just grateful for the reaction. Had a really great video last week. We plan on continuing that same kind of setup where he and I get together and discuss something. This week we are going to talk about AI and the impact it's going to have on the end times. I think it's an exciting subject. It's not the subject I've got for us today, but I will tell you, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the likes, the subscribes, and the comments. And a big thing that we're trying to get going is a conversation. I think as long as we have this technology in our world, that Christians need to be talking to one another all over the country, all over the world. This is my way of reaching out to somebody that I've never met, and then they can comment back. Comments are important because the conversation needs to be had. Doesn't matter what you have to say, we want to hear it, as long as it's not foul and not nasty. You can disagree with us, and we'll be okay with that. I promise you, I won't get my feelings hurt. I'm married. People have disagreed with me before. I'm married. I have 2 kids. I've been disagreed with before. I'm not saying that that's normal in my life. I have a good marriage, but come on, we're bigger than that. When somebody challenges you, if that hurts your feelings, then maybe you need to work on your wokeness a little bit. I'm getting way off topic, but kind of staying in topic too, because what I wanted to talk to you about is dealing with difficult people, but not just dealing with them, loving difficult people. Did you know as Christians we're called to love? And we're in difficult times, and there's difficult people. And believe it or not, sometimes in someone's world, you could be the difficult person. I know that's hard to believe. I've been that one before. I've had difficult people in my life before. I just told you, I have kids. Now, my kids are in their 20s. I'm not calling them difficult now, but you get what I'm saying. You could have a person that you go to church with or work with or in your family that's been put in your life that is difficult. Trust me, it's not an accident or a mistake, and it could well be God stretching you and using you to help them and them to grow you. We're not also perfect that we don't need growth. I'm not. I'm going to be growing in my spiritual walk until the day I die. Hopefully. There was a time when I didn't, and I digressed, but I want to grow. And so I've got this list of ways that we can love difficult people, people that are difficult to love. They're around. Maybe I'll find a list of ways to not be one of those people some other time. But right now, let's assume we're called to love someone difficult, but we're not difficult. It's up to you, your call. Anyway, so the first thing, honestly, and I had to write this down. I don't have as good a memory as I used to, and I never had that great a memory. Just the way it is. Anyway, the first thing that I would like to tell you about loving a difficult person is you have to pray. You have to pray for you. You have to pray for your heart. You have to pray for the vision to see what they need. You have to pray that God softens your heart towards them. You just have to do it. You have to go to God. You have to say, okay, they're in my life. Please give me the grace and show me how to love them. After you do that, you got to pray for them. You got to pray, God, soften their heart. Show them how to be loved. Some people don't know how to be loved. Did you know that? I was one of those people. I was angry, critical, bitter. You could come to me with love, and it would have been at your own detriment. But pray for them. Pray that they can receive it. Pray that you have the right things to say because God's given them to you. Third, you got to move toward them. In other words, don't act like you're repelled by them. Try to be in their life. Maybe not all the time, but try to figure out their love language and what they need. Try to be somebody that ministers to them. We are all ministers. We are all called to love. There may be people with other anointings, but we are all called to love people. Try to figure out exactly how does this person feel loved. And then in a godly way, fulfill that. Do that. And let God do it through you. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Through you, God loves them. And that's what they really need. Next, figure out ways to bless them. Again, learn their love language. Now, their love language could be many things. Most people, if you do something nice for them or you get them something nice that they will appreciate, those two things go a long way. But some people need compliments. They need you to tell them, hey, that looks nice. I like that. Or, you do a really good job at this. Some people have never heard that in their lives. It's a vacancy that they need filled. And God can use you to fill that vacancy. And believe it or not, it doesn't take much with some people because some people have really, really been abused in that way. So figure it out. Ask God to show you, plus pay attention. When you're around them, understand, watch what they do and say. You'll figure it out. And then try to be a part of filling that up. Then you've got to give them the same grace God has always given you. This goes back to what I said before. You've been the difficult person before in someone's life. You could go to Oregon right now and find a lot of people that don't know the version of Jeff Guy that's talking right now. I lived there for over 30 years. Trust me, I've crossed some paths and I've done some things and I was a different person at one time. They're not going to know the me that you see today. If they were to give me grace, then they would accept, oh, he's changed. And that's all you need to do. You need to give them the grace that God's given you. He'll give it to you to give. That's what the giving is about. If God pours it in, you can pour it out. God's never going to stop pouring it into you, so you don't have to stop pouring it out. And you give them that grace. People are going to mess up. People are going to upset you. But don't be so thin-skinned that it causes you to stop loving them. And we'll talk about maybe when it's time to cut that off at some point. I think that's covered it. You have been the difficult person. Give them grace. And obviously, there's times when we have to stop talking to people. And that's a whole biblical thing where you cut someone off if they just absolutely do not want to change or accept that, hey, this is a rough spot in my life, or I'm being rough here, I'm wrong, and we can cut them off. But we're still going to do it with that same grace and that same love and that same tact. And I'm never going to put the padlock on the door that says you're never coming in again. I'll still love the person. I'll still pray these prayers for them. I just may not have much contact with them for a time. I'm not going to be abused by someone, and I'm not going to allow them to be critical or mean in ways that are just outside the boundaries of what is common decency. You get what I'm saying? You don't have to do that. Christians are not meant to be walked all over or called names and trampled, but we can take a lot. We should be able to tolerate more than your average wokey. Much more. Don't be thin-skinned. Don't run away because someone used bad language or said they didn't like what you thought. Still love them. Prove to them that they're wrong about you and about Christianity. Prove it with love. It sure won't happen with your mouth running and you saying things back to them or you just ignoring them or any of those things. The internet will provide you with many ways to be mean, nasty, and sarcastic. I've done it. And I'm guilty of always wanting to do it because I just need to stay out of the comments in certain places. I go in there knowing, there's going to be something so stupid here. It affects the way I love. I know they're total strangers, but That's who we're actually called to love. The Bible says if, we can love our families and the people in our lives, well, that's no different than any other person. We need to go outside of that realm. I appreciate you today, and I do love you. And again, if you're getting this because you subscribed, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, think about subscribing just to support the channel. What happens is we just get a little bigger. We want to make more content. Soon I'll be making another video with Pastor Neil for Beyond the Pulpit. It's coming out this week. I think I told you it's going to be AI on AI. Really, a really great topic. But anyway, I just want to be able to talk to you. And I want you guys to be able to talk. So take care. And we'll see you later this week. And my dog says it's time to do something.